Does she prefer to call you Slampion of the Draft or to sing the Let's Go Baby song?
Why are you putting me in that position,
come on.
man?
Let's do it. How does that song go, Brandon?
I think it's something like let's go baby, 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 let's go baby. Take it away, Max.
No, cut. Cut it.
Skirt.
Please stop doing it.
Every time you say it, I'm going to say it, dude. Every time you say it, I'm going to do it.
The Switch 2 has been out for about a year now, and we have a lot of things to say about it, but we're not just going to give you an episode where we talk about how great or not great the Switch 2 has been. We have awards. This is going to be the Switch 2 award extravaganza, and Mags has the trophy that we'll be using to give out these awards. So stick around and find out some of the best things about the Switch 2 if you haven't already figured that out yourself. But before we get into it, Slam, how's it going, homie?
It's going good. You know, I got a nap in before this episode, so I'm feeling nice and refreshed, right? Especially after our in-depth conversation in the pre-show.
Wow, y'all got to check it out.
We got into it. Yep.
That was a good one. That was fun.
Yeah.
But it's going good. I'm actually playing a lot of really great games right now. I started 007 First Light.
Mm-hmm.
That was a Father's Day gift to me. Shout out.
Shout out to all the dads.
Yeah.
Happy belated Father's
Shout
Day.
out to the dads to Father's Day. And I am loving it. It is so good. Such a incredible, like, 007 game. It feels like 007. And I'm a fan of the movie.
That's awesome, man. I've heard people complaining about it. Like online, they were like, oh, it feels like you can fumble things and you don't feel like James Bond.
Yeah, but it's like a prequel story.
That's
like you're not like elite level James Bond yet, which is the whole point, right? It's like a really unique, like you're becoming
origin
007.
story.
Yeah, it's an origin.
Yeah.
Like you're not 007 yet, right?
This is how he gets there.
Yeah,
That's cool.
So it's really good. Loving it. I am also playing The Adventures of Elliot. Almost finished with that one.
Word.
Love that game. It is a little bit Zelda light. I hear a lot of people calling it that because the puzzles are not as hard as Zelda. Like you're never, at least me, who's played a ton of Zelda games, I'm never scratching my head in Elliot. I can mow through these dungeons pretty easily. Like I know I can identify the mechanics, rock them out, get to the boss, finish it. I actually love that. I do enjoy it. The quality of the puzzles is good. So I'm enjoying that. But I did a video on the exploration because I think that is where Adventures of Elliot truly shines, because everything in it is a little bit of a puzzle. So getting from point A to point B is a puzzle in and of itself because of how the map is laid out with the different, time dimensions and stuff, and how all of that is structured. Love it. I like the soundtrack so much. It's one of the best soundtracks ever. It's so good.
Wow.
It's so good. This is S tier soundtrack on Adventures of Elliot. The story is good. It's not great, and it's not what I would come to expect from Team Asano. I've seen them do incredible stories over and over and over again. So the Adventures of Elliot not being on the level of Octopath Traveler or Bravely Default and things like that is a little disappointing, because I think there's a lot of potential there for the characters, but they weren't as fleshed out or in depth as what I've come to expect from that team. But I still really like it. It's not like a detriment. It's not bad. I'm not going through the story being like, this is not good. No, it's good. It's just not like incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm playing Star Fox. I also need to say shout out to Square Enix for the code on Adventures of Elliot, and shout out to Nintendo for the code for Star Fox. Star Fox, oh my goodness. I did not expect it to be this good. It is so good. I played it for a few hours today, like unbelievable. This probably is like the best showcase of like Switch 2 performance in terms of like graphical fidelity and like smoothness and frame rate, and just how beautiful and amazing this game looks and performs.
It looks really freaking good.
It's unreal. It's so good. And after seeing the Ocarina of Time announcement, how good this is has just made me so much more excited for that too. Because I'm like, Nintendo clearly has kind of nailed the Switch 2 hardware, and they're able to do some really incredible things with it. So I'm really, really excited to see what is going to come from Nintendo first party for the Switch 2. And Star Fox is an incredible start. This is the best Star Fox game ever made. And it is a truly unique experience on the Switch 2 or on anything right now. And I'm loving every minute of it. It's just so cool and so fun to like get through a level, do the boss fights, do the barrel rolls, and hit the reverse in the open air. It's like so fun. It is just pure fun. So that's what I've been playing. Having a lot of fun with video games right now. What about you guys?
Yeah, Max.
We
What about
love
you?
that. We'll do that. Yeah, I am still playing through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Shout out to Square Enix for the code for that one. Super thankful for that. But yeah, I feel like I'm nearing the end. I just finished up the Cloud and Tifa date in chapter
Let's
12.
go. Tifa's best girl.
Yes.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it in the comments.
No,
Tifa's
she is.
best girl.
Case closed. Done deal.
Done.
You can come for me online, but I don't care.
Yep.
She's the best. So that moment was like so amazing because you just kind of feel like something's building up between Cloud and Tifa kind of throughout Rebirth. In Remake, I felt like they just didn't really have a lot of chances to talk. But in Rebirth, they do. And they have there's just more like meaningful moments between them. And that's been really sweet to see. Really, in terms of the whole cast, it's like that. Like there's a lot of really great, meaningful moments with Cloud and Barrett and Cloud and Aerith and like just everyone. And so I really loved that part of the game specifically because I did feel like that was lacking in Remake a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But Rebirth just has so much more character development. I feel like I know these characters so much better and can appreciate them and their journeys that they have like kind of gone through so far and will continue to go through like in this game and then in Revelation. And I do feel like where I'm at now, things are starting to get pretty real. And so I'm interested to see what happens. I've been doing a lot of the side content too, but I'm kind of at the point where I don't really want to do a whole lot more. I just want to see what happens. And I've heard a lot of people say that like the side content is fun and it's interesting. And there is some that really has some cool lore implications, especially the proto relics in Cosmo Canyon and Nibelheim. I felt like those were very essential to understanding some of the things that were happening. So I appreciate the side content and how it's implemented. It's just at a certain point, you got to know what's happening.
Yeah, the story is so good. You're like, I just got to go. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think too, like for me, it's like seeing Cloud's like deteriorating mental state. Like, I'm just kind of like, okay, like I want to know more about what's happening here. And I don't know if I don't think I'll get all the answers, obviously, in Rebirth, but like, I do want to see what happens with that because you're just kind of like shown it over and over and over throughout the game. And then it starts to get worse. And I really am like worried about him. Like, it just seems like he's kind of venturing toward a point where he's not himself. That's what I'll say. But it's been great. And I'm looking forward to playing more and seeing how it ends. And then getting on the hype train for Revelation because it'll be here soon.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. And that's why, like, when I've talked about Rebirth, I'm like, it's so hard because it's going to sound like I am complaining about the side content, and I'm not complaining about it. But what you don't understand if you haven't played it is that the story is so freaking good that at some point you're like, the side content is taking me away from the thing that I really want the most from this game. So it's like, it's a good problem to have, but that's why it was like, I'm not complaining about it. I promise. It's just, you don't understand. Yeah.
I kind of felt the same way with Xenoblade 3 at a certain point. Like I that game, the side content in that game is one of the best. But there was a certain point where I was like, okay, I'm going to finish the story and then I'm going to come back and do a lot of this stuff because I want to do it, but I need to see how this ends.
Yeah.
Because it's just so compelling.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
What about you, Brandon? Wake up.
Oh, phew, it's been a week. I know.
Slam's like, I know the feeling.
I feel like I can't say anything about being tired with Slam here right now.
I know, me neither.
No, so I finally beat Legend of Dragoon.
There it is.
Very excited that I finally beat that. So I've played the game like 5 times, and this is the first time I've actually seen it all the way through. We'll talk about it on maybe a member episode or something, but
a future episode.
I have a lot of critiques about this game. There are a lot of things that don't hold up well. That being said, that ending sequence is so strong. Like I was getting to the end and I was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm going to be pretty negative on this game, which is a bummer because it's like such a well-beloved game. And there's like aspects that I like, but so much of this is like really crusty. The ending sequence, though, I could still imagine a scenario where we got more out of it because it's very character driven, but the way it's handled and the way they wrap things up, I was like, okay, that was pretty good. And I'm glad that I finally got through it. So we'll talk more about that at some point, but finally beat that. I would say honestly, like if you loved Dragoon growing up, then obviously the nostalgia is going to stick with you because like some of the music and stuff in that game, like it's extremely memorable. There's a lot of aspects of the game that are memorable. If you've never played Dragoon before, it's probably not one of the games that I would recommend most strongly for going back to. And even now, I used to say that I wanted to get it just like remade, kind of spruced up, and now I'm like, no, if they brought Dragoon back, they would need to rework this game. I think the potential is there for something really incredible, but there's a lot of stuff that they would need to work on. So anyway, beat Dragoon, started Wild Arms. I've never played a Wild Arms game before. Started the first one.
Games.
Yeah. And that hooked me pretty quick, actually. It's more traditional RPG, turn-based RPG than Dragoon is, but the story setup and everything is really interesting, and it just feels kind of classic adventure. There's a lot of unique elements to the battle system, but like there's an overworld map that feels kind of classic Final Fantasy. So it's kind of meshing the good from a number of different RPGs at that time. So I'll probably push through that one while I'm playing some of these other games. I haven't gotten to Elliot yet, but I do have Elliot. I got the collector's edition, which comes with the soundtrack, by the way, which I'm very excited about. I normally don't open collector's editions, but the soundtrack, I will get the soundtrack. So that's exciting. Got Star Fox. I've been playing that. To Slam's point, like it looks amazing, and the music in this game. Like, I know the Star Fox music. I've been hearing it my whole life, but man, when like you just start the game and you get the Corneria, when it hits, just man,
triggered Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it was like, oh, no! This is so good. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. So Star Fox it's looking real good. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I got to there's paths you can go down in the game.
And the cutscenes change depending on how you perform in certain missions.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's actually really cool.
I like they made it super dynamic. Yeah.
I got like to the conversations that are had are different based on what happens in the different missions. It's crazy.
Nice.
I got to this like solar world thing where there's a big fire boss. It's really freaking hard. So working through that now, but yep. Star Fox, got that. I'm trying to figure out if there are any other, like there have been other games that I've tinkered with, but it's mostly that. And I need to beat Endwalker. A lot of the guys in the Discord are like, you got to beat Endwalker. I'm pretty close. Yeah. So I'll get to that as well.
They can be very persuasive, those people in Discord.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience.
Troublesome. Yep.
Mhm.
Very troublesome.
Little
the
chaotic,
chaos is real.
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, they helped me win the draft, so
Okay.
Yep. We should just shout that out. If you're not part of the Discord, if you're not a member,
Should
we have a lot of fun, and we had a draft in the last episode. And what happened, just so y'all know what kind of chaos we have in the Discord, I think I was winning. And then at the last minute, a couple of the guys, literally the last minute, switched their votes so that Mags and I tied. And then, of course, because this is the Level Up Legacy podcast, we declared Slam the winner with not even a fourth of the votes, because why not? It's chaos. And
because
so,
listen, by the same logic that me and you won the Game Awards competition, even though technically we didn't even get half of the answers right, and Mags more than doubled our score, we tied. So it was impossible.
There was no loser.
Yeah. And now, since you guys tied, there's no winner except me, Slampion of the draft. So,
and in the Discord, he updated his picture and came up with a whole thing about it. He even had a speech.
He took a victory lap.
Yeah.
Speech, image, name change. It's all there.
It's a great time.
Yeah. So shout outs to the Discord. If you have not joined us, join us. It's all kinds of fun.
Yeah.
All right.
We're like nearing 300 members in there.
I know. It's wild.
It's crazy.
A good time, and it's very active. Lots of fun to be had.
Lots of fun, lots of good conversations, and really nice people overall.
Yep.
Despite the chaos.
All right. So let's get into the Switch 2. Switch 2's been out for a year, and it's been an interesting history. When it was first announced, people were not happy about the price. Nowadays, given everything we're seeing with price increases, it doesn't seem so bad.
How the turntables.
Turntables. A lot has happened over this year. So before we get into the categories where we talk about our awards, I want to just go around and get kind of an overall sentiment so far about the console. Maybe some highlights, maybe some lowlights, and then we can get into the stuff. So Slam, I'm going to start with you. How are you feeling about the Switch 2? Do you feel differently now than when it first came out?
That's a good
maybe
question.
Like the first couple of months.
So I love the Switch 2. The Switch is my favorite console of all time. The Switch 2 is just a better version of that. And I was super hyped for the Switch 2 when it launched. I was going to buy it no matter what. I love Nintendo, and I bought every single Nintendo console on launch day for as long as I could, if I can. But I was concerned at first that there wasn't going to be enough different feeling or features with the Switch 2, because with Nintendo, I'm used to like every console being this drastically different experimental thing.
Yeah.
So, and as a fan, I kind of love that they do that. So this was the first time that the Switch 2 is just going to be a kind of a continuation of the previous generation of console. And so for that reason, I was a little concerned, but all those concerns have gone out the door. For a few reasons. One, third-party support is insane on the Switch 2. Far better than it ever was on the Switch 1. We're getting day-and-date releases of really big-time AAA games. Resident Evil 9, which is my game of the year so far, has
the best RPG.
Best JRPG ever
The
made.
best JRPG, yeah. Resident Evil 9, great JRPG.
Yeah, it's going to be...
And if you're a new viewer, this is a joke.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Well, Resident Evil 9 is actually my game of the year so far. But us thinking RE9 is actual JRPG is a joke. But you will continue to see it ranked with all of our JRPGs going forward. Let the record show.
Let the record show.
Third-party support has been insanely good. It is punching way above its weight due to DLSS. And I think like partnering with NVIDIA for like their graphics chip for this was just such an incredible idea. I feel like DLSS is outperforming like most upscaling solutions, including like PlayStation's version of it. So I think it's actually done really great for things like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it's doing great for like RE9 and Pragmata and things like that. So I am very excited to see what the future holds for the Switch 2. But I'm every time a game comes out and it's got a Switch 2 version, I'm like, I'm probably going to want to play that on the Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in love with the console. I basically play it as my primary hardware. And so my opinions are very high, very positive on the Switch 2. And it's just getting better as time goes, especially with the price of everything else going up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Prices
true.
are wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's the easiest, it's the cheapest barrier to entry for what is becoming a very expensive hobby. Gaming is pricing out most of its consumer base at this point, with everybody Steam Decks and the Steam machine at its price point, Xbox increasing its price, PlayStation increasing its price. Switch is going up $50, but we're comparing it to the PlayStation and the Xbox, which are increasing their price 3 times that. So
yeah, it's still 500 versus 8 or 9 or 12 or whatever it is now.
Yeah. And the value that you're getting at the price is also very high.
Now, if the Switch 2 didn't have third-party support, it has. Like if we were in a Switch 1 situation,
that's different.
It would be different. But the Switch 2 is getting these games and they're performing well on it. And we're getting a lot of ports for like Devil May Cry 5 came. Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming. There were like Onimusha is coming day and date. Like you've got a ton of day and date releases and new Metaphor ReFantazio is coming. So it's
Final Fantasy
really cool
VII Revelation.
Day and date. Yeah.
Big deal. Yeah.
That is a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, Mags, how are you feeling about it? And how are you feeling, or are you feeling different from the first couple of months versus now?
Yeah. I mean, initially I was really excited about it. I write for a Nintendo magazine. So part of me was like, I'm really excited about this console. And then also I'm going to have to get this for that job.
Yeah.
Because, in order to stay up to date and be able to play these games in the version that they're meant to be played, I'm going to need to upgrade. So there was kind of like a twofold reasoning as far as getting it. And it was honestly a lot of fun. Like, I know it's a little stressful to have to stay up late to like buy one of these, but like I had all these chats going on with different people and we were sharing links, and there was just like this fun energy that happens when a new console comes out and when you want to get it and try it out. And so initially I was very excited, but there weren't like a ton of games that I was really excited about playing when it first came out. I definitely checked out Rune Factory Guardians of Ozma, and that was a super fun time. And then, of course, as the months went on, we got more. But I would say now the Switch 2 is exclusively what I play probably like 90% of the time now. And I didn't see that to like coming at all when I first like got it. I thought, okay, this is what I'm going to use to play a lot of games and I'm going to be reviewing a lot of games on it, but I'm still going to play PS5. I'm still going to play PC. And like, that's just not the case. Like, I've just wanted to have this be my primary console most of the time. If there's a game and it's coming out on Switch 2, I want it on Switch 2. And I think part of it is the games perform so well. You have a portable option, whether you want to do that for travel, if you want to take it to the gym and play on the treadmill. Like, there's just a nice flexibility there that you don't have with a lot of other platforms. And I just think that it's a great value for what you get. And there's a lot of good games on there. And now that there's, more third-party support, I'm just more excited about what the potential is, because I don't really want to play games anywhere else. So like Slam, I think I'm more excited now than I was. I was always excited, but I'm just really happy with how it's going. And I really don't think we've even scratched the surface on what we're going to get with this console, because we're now about to see like our favorite franchises, like from Nintendo first party. And we're going to
Yep.
see
Yep.
like with Fire Emblem and Xenoblade, we're going to see how those games perform. And I think that's kind of what we've been waiting for. And I think once that hits and once some of these other RPGs hit, like this is just going to be the place to play. So
Yep.
yeah, love it so far. Way more than I expected.
Yeah.
I get way more
Yeah.
gaming done in like having a
Yes.
handheld too. Like I
Me
just
too.
had twins,
Yeah.
right? So like being able to have a handheld is like
It's crucial.
helping me game so much more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Which is great.
Same. I can maximize my time, especially with really long RPGs that we play a
Yeah.
lot. Like this is the place to play them because you can at least maximize the amount of time. Wherever you are, you can play it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel very similarly, obviously. I think the Switch concept is just so strong. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know I don't want to like crap on like the PlayStation Portable or anything like, or not portable,
Portal.
the PlayStation Portal. Shout outs to the PSP. The Portal
PSP.
though, like I remember playing. I needed to play like Persona 3 Reload when it came out almost exclusively on the Portal because I could not sit in front of my TV. And like there was just a lot going on. There wasn't a lot of time to sit in front of the TV. And it was a pain because for me, with the internet, the way it was set up, it just wasn't working as well as I've heard it work for other people. It was always hit or miss. And then if I needed to travel for work, that was even more hit or miss. And so the Switch concept is just so powerful to be able to play these games truly natively in handheld. And so having a more powerful version of that is so nice, because the Switch was my favorite console, and I exclusively played on the Switch. Like I barely touched my PS5, only for exclusive games, and then even then, it took me way longer to beat them because I had to get to a stage where I could actually sit down and play those games.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, because we've been so positive on the Switch 2, the key card, to nobody's surprise, the key card situation has been a massive bummer for me. I also want to play all of my games on the Switch, but I refuse to buy key cards, and digital is still iffy for me. If there's sales on digital and things like that, I don't mind picking those games up. So that's been hard for me because I've bought a lot more PS5 games recently because of the key card situation, because I'm actually getting them physically. But I'd still say overall, especially with like first party, some of the third party stuff as well, but getting these games first party has been exciting, and seeing what Nintendo is doing with the Switch 2 and the games coming to the Switch 2 has been awesome. Obviously, Max, you mentioned some of our favorite games coming out, like Fire Emblem is coming out. So that's it for me. You guys are never going to see me again.
It was nice knowing you, Brandon.
Yeah.
We'll miss
Nice
ya.
meeting you all, and shout outs to the Discord, and I'll see you in a year and a half. But yeah, Fire Emblem, Xenoblade coming out, like all of these other, like new Pokemon game coming out.
Oh yeah,
Zelda.
huge.
Zelda coming out. Yeah, all of that. I don't have to worry about key cards because Nintendo hasn't pulled that except for Pokopia, but that's, I know, it's like
That was
nuanced, but
Koei Tecmo.
It's a weird situation. But
Yeah.
thankfully
And it does-
first party seems safe.
it does seem like there's a shift too, because like one of the most disappointing things about the beginning of the Switch 2 life cycle was that everybody was using key cards. Like outside of Guardians of Ozuma in the beginning, that was basically it.
And
then I think
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk. I mean, if they can put Cyberpunk on cart, like there's not really an excuse for a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Like,
Cyberpunk, and then I
come
think
on.
Daemon X Machina was also
all the Marvelous
was also on
games.
cart.
Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar was also
Are on
fully on
cart.
cart because it was all
Yeah.
Marvelous Exceed stuff.
Yeah. So shout outs to Marvelous and Exceed.
Yeah, and they're a small company, so shout out to them for putting
Yeah.
in that effort and cost.
But it does seem like we're starting to move into an era where there are more people willing to put things on cart, which is exciting. I think that's needed. At the very least, I would still love to see some sort of move in that direction with things like VGP or limited run games or things like that, where maybe after a game comes out, they have a true physical option down the road or something like that. I know there's complexity to the conversation, but the key card thing is probably one of the biggest detractors for me because I just want to play everything on the Switch too. And I don't want to have this mental gymnastics that goes into justifying this waste of plastic when I can just buy digital. And frankly, I've bought more digital. I hate that I've bought more digital, but I have, because there are just some cases where I'm just like, I want to play this game on the Switch too. I refuse to buy a key card. It's a waste of plastic, so I'm just going to get it digitally so that I can play it on the Switch too. Ironically, usually the way that works out for me is I will get like Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, for example. I got the PS5 Collector's Edition, but then I got it digitally on the Switch too because I really just wanted to play it on the Switch too.
Yeah. That's valid.
Yeah, but overall, I'm so happy that we have the Switch 2. I think, Slam, to your point, price point wise, it's hard to beat. Yeah. It's hard to beat, and in today's landscape, $500 sounded scary to some people when it first came out, but now it sounds downright cheap compared to, the $800 or $900 Xbox or whatever it is, the $900 PS5 Pro, the $1,000 Steam Deck, the what's the Steam machine starting
12 at? Or 1100, 1049 without the controller.
Yeah, so it's at the lowest storage too.
It's about $1,100 to $1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So the Switch being $500, it's like, I feel like for those who are still interested in gaming moving forward, the Switch 2 seems positioned to absolutely dominate.
Yeah.
Because it's still relatively affordable compared to the other options. So yeah. So I'm pretty high on it too. But that one piece is still makes me grumpy, guys. It still makes me grumpy.
I get it.
So, Slam, did you just do One Piece? Were you?
Because you said One Piece. So.
Oh, I did say that. You're right. Yeah. I was like, grumpy?
He's like,
what's happening here?
You said that One Piece, and I said One Piece.
I see it.
He's on it tonight. Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's get into some of these categories, and we'll talk through it, and we'll give some awards here. Yeah. So the first category we're going to start with is the best Switch 2 feature, and here are the nominees: mouse controls, the fact that it's just a more powerful Switch, game chat, and we're going to say generally NSO, but with NSO on the Switch 2, we got GameCube, which was really freaking cool. I have the GameCube controller.
The games they have on there are great. And they've been upgraded too.
Yeah.
Like they look cleaner, better, perform better on the Switch 2.
And you got save states.
Yeah.
Always good. So
especially with Fire Emblem. Yep.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
And that
so what are we thinking,
controller
guys?
Too. So for me, it's between being a more powerful Switch and the GameCube Online. Since we're doing feature, I'm inclined to lean GameCube Online because the more powerful Switch is great, but it's also like kind of what we would expect, right?
Sure.
The GameCube Online was kind of a surprise.
It was.
And really, really good. Yep. And I really like that I've been able to revisit a lot of those games. Path of Radiance, Wind Waker, among others that are also, we got more slated to come. Although I wish they would put them out at a more consistent pace.
Yeah.
I'm happy with what's on there. So I think I would personally lean GameCube because I also really like that controller. I remember I when the Switch 2 launched, I was like going through trying to try out all the new features and stuff. And one night I was like, I'm going to boot up Wind Waker, play on my GameCube controller and see how it plays. I played for 5 hours straight. I was up till like 4 a.m. I was like, this was not what I expected to do tonight. I expected to just like dip in here for like a half hour and like see how it went. I got lost in it.
That's when Fire Emblem came out, dude. I was the exact same way. I'm like, and I just played Path of Radiance recently. Like I beat it on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to go back and play it. And then it came out in the NSO and I was locked in. And I was playing that for hours and hours and hours. I freaking love that game.
Yeah. So GameCube Online is for me, I think. It's my vote.
Okay. What about you, Max?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'm kind of in between the same two that Slam mentioned because, I mean, I think all we really wanted from the Switch 2 was for it to be more powerful. And that's led to a lot of great third-party support, which is really making this console more valuable and more of just something that like a general gamer who's not just a Nintendo fan would want or would satisfy their needs. So I think it's a big deal. I mean, I don't want to, like, I know we could discount it and say like, well, yeah, that's what we expected, but I do think it's a big deal. And it's had ramifications on the console that are going to continue because it's just going to get more and more third-party support as it goes, whether it's delayed because we're still kind of having developers catch up to way more on day and date now that the dev kits are out there. So I think that's a really big deal. But I also agree that the NSO with GameCube games is super great. Like I was able to play Path of Radiance for the first time this year, and it's going to allow a lot of people to play games that they may have missed on that specific generation. And there's a lot of good games to check out. So, it's tough for me. I think I'm going to go with the bigger and better Switch though, because I think even though it is just kind of like a tech boost, it has caused a lot of things to happen to make this console even better. And it will be even better from years to come because of that. And I think it's just setting it up to be like much more than just what the regular Switch was. So,
yeah.
So does that mean I have the tiebreaker vote here?
Unless you vote Game Chat. And then we'll just all have to decide.
I think that's exactly what he's going to pick. But honestly, like I'm good with either, but I just think the significance
we did
of
Game Chat with Chilling by the Fire.
We did.
We did.
Yep.
One time.
That might come up again.
Yeah,
I did that.
Might come up again.
Yeah.
Oh man, you should edit that into this video again, Slam, like you did when we talked about it.
Probably never do that again. I hate
that was
game.
so funny. Chilling by the fire.
So you could see me using fireworks, and it looked like I was peeing on you.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like yellow.
Won't ever forget it. Actually.
Our little like faces were on the.
Yeah, Brandon was like serenading us with his guitar,
playing the guitar. Yeah.
We were roasting marshmallows. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, for those of you who are new here, there is an episode you can find.
Let's not get hasty.
No, do you remember how close I had to sit to the Switch because like the camera wasn't connecting and it was like terrible? Yeah.
It was rough.
No, so for me for this one, I think I'm going to agree with Mags, but I have to talk about GameCube for a minute.
Sure.
Here. Like what people don't realize about this, like I know, Retro Brandon, like I like my physical copies and this is an online service and I generally have an issue with online services as a practice, blah, blah, blah. Setting that aside, in terms of accessibility, between Fire Emblem and Pokemon Gale of Darkness, just the two of them, that's about $500+ worth of game these days.
Yeah.
Like, I have a GameCube collection and the prices on these games is absurd. So the fact that you're getting an HD upscaled one with emulation features where you can do save states and things like that, they look better. They play on the Switch, which you already have. They have a GameCube controller that you can get that acts as a Switch controller. Like, that is really, really freaking cool. Like, just the library they have right now lowers the bar to entry so significantly for these games. And you also get access to Game Boy Advance and like all of these other things. Virtual Boy, let's go.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Forgot about that one. Don't remind me.
There's a whole thing.
Yeah. So I like that can't be understated. The fact that they actually did that. Like GameCube was rumored for years And the fact that they actually did that for the Switch 2 is really
Their
cool.
subscription price is
also
also pretty reasonable compared to the competition.
1,000%.
So for what you get as well, so
because you could pay for that and have enough games to play the whole year if you wanted to.
Totally.
And years to come. So
yeah. The library is massive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I want to shout that out. But I think, Mags, I think you just made a really strong case for the more powerful Switch being more significant than people give it credit for. I do think you're right. It positions Nintendo to be able to take this console and do something with it that they never could with the previous Switch. We are at the stage in gaming where there's just diminishing returns on even more power. The Switch 2 has more limitations than some of the other consoles, but the limitations are not as much these days, and they're able to do some pretty incredible things on this.
Yeah.
Nintendo themselves, to our conversation earlier, like with Star Fox, they're able to pull off games looking unbelievably beautiful on this console.
I do want to say, that was my biggest question going into the Switch 2 is yes, it's more powerful, but is Nintendo really the one that's going to be able to take advantage of this? And it is very clear that they are, and they're doing it in really creative ways. So like Bonanza with all its breaking everything and all the particle effects and stuff that were going on. That I think Nintendo is doing a really good job at handling and using the extra power, and then it also gives the ability to position Nintendo to have much, much, much more third-party support. I remember when the Switch 1 came out, all we talked about was, are we going to be able to get ports of said game on the Nintendo Switch? And you saw The Witcher 3, and it was like that King of the Hill gif Mags always uses where someone throws sand in your eyes.
Pocket sand.
Yeah. That's exactly how I felt with most of the ports on the Nintendo Switch. Luckily on the Switch 2, that's not an issue. And these games all look really, really good. So I'm with you guys. We could do. So the winner, the award goes to more powerful Switch.
More powerful Switch.
Let's
for the
go.
Best feature. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Mags.
Y'all ready for the
flower,
next
it
one?
wasn't me.
Oh, it was the flower. Okay.
It was the flower.
This one's gonna be a challenge. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Mags, are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Okay.
Nice.
The next category we have is the best Switch 2 JRPG. Now,
so far,
I'm going to make a couple. Yes, so far, a couple things clear. We're not talking about games that are coming out. We know that Fire Emblem and Xenoblade are going to be amazing. These are what's already here. Second caveat, there are a handful of games that we wanted to consider, and none of them are, well, one of them is technically a Switch exclusive. But these are technically available on other platforms as well. So we wanted to talk about this in terms of not necessarily the best JRPG per se, but the best JRPG in terms of how impressive it is and how well it runs and the overall experience on the Switch 2. So here are the nominees. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Monster Hunter Stories 3, Persona 3 Reload, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and Trails First Chapter. Trails in the Sky First Chapter. So how are we feeling? Slam?
For me, I think there's one really big standout in terms of shocking that it exists on the console and gives me hope for this future of the Nintendo Switch 2. And that is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is one of my all-time favorite games, a game I've put hundreds of hours into. And I think it just fits the Switch 2 so perfectly. Queen's Blood alone on a handheld device is elite level to have on the Switch 2. I could put so many endless hours into that Queen's Blood quest line, and it just is perfect for a handheld console. But the fact that this game runs the way it runs on a Switch 2 is just massive. You know,
Yeah.
it's. I never would have expected Rebirth to be announced for the Switch 2. And if it did, I thought we were in for like a Witcher 3 on the Switch 1 type situation where it was boom, pocket sand.
I can't believe this has been said on the podcast already twice. Brandon's seething.
Yeah. You know, King of the Hill Hearts 4.
He's leaving. No.
He's running away. He didn't just leave. He ran away.
Got too much pocket sand in his face. He had to go.
I had to run. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is my vote. I do think it showcases what the Switch 2 is capable of better than anything else on this list. But this is a very good list.
Of course.
Trails to the Sky
solid.
first chapter is my game of the year last year. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition looks so good on the Switch 2. Those upgrades, like graphically, it looks amazing. Persona 3 Reload had a rough launch, but after its updates, perfect on the Switch 2. And Monster Hunter Stories 3 is another, great JRPG to have on the console. So all of them great, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the one that wins it for me.
All right, Max, how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's hard to argue against Rebirth within these parameters on just how like good the port is despite like the circumstances, just because of what the game is and how much it requires from the system and like how much is going on and like the vastness of the open world and playing it. Like, it's very impressive to see, because this is my first like glimpse into this game. I didn't play it beforehand on PlayStation 5, and even still, like it looks so good on the Switch 2. Like and it performs well, and it's kind of a marvel that they got it to look this good and got it to perform this well.
It really shows like the power and potential of the platform.
Yeah. And so I think in that vein, like I would have to give it to Rebirth too. I do want to shout out Trails in the Sky First Chapter remake, because this was the first Trails game to get a Switch 2 port, and it's really good. And I think that having the game on there really set it up for success, and it's been able to reach a lot more people and a lot more players because they did launch it on Switch 2. And it was the first, I think, it was the first one that launched on Switch 2 and other platforms as well. So it was a good port. Like a lot of the Falcom Switch ports before this one weren't great.
Yeah,
so this kind of like marked a step in the right direction in terms of getting the games on Switch 2 and also having them look well and perform well. So I think that is significant, and I was really happy to see it. But I do think like what y'all are saying, like as far as impressiveness, like how good the port is and how much the game demands, like Rebirth gets it just because of what they were able to do with it.
Yeah. I'm going to disagree with all of you. Persona 3 Reload. No, I'm just kidding.
It's up for a Persona game.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to me, like it's a shoe-in for that one.
Yeah.
I am still kind of blown away that they were able to pull it off, but also the fact that we will be getting the third installment on the Switch 2 is kind of wild.
And and date too.
Yeah.
Like
I
that's
think
wild.
Their support for the Switch 2 has been so good.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. It didn't make the nominations just because I have some issues with how that game ended up being structured. I loved the game, don't get me wrong, but I think it performed comparably to the PS5 version. I think they look exactly the same.
That's impressive.
So,
yeah.
Square Enix is knocking it out of the park with their Switch 2 support. You'll love to see it. Adventures of Elliot 2 also looks and runs great on the Switch 2. So shout out Square Enix for that.
Yeah, and there's so much to come. I'm so excited to see what we get out of this console. So, yep. All right. So the Level Up Legacy Award goes to
Final Fantasy
Persona
VII
3
Rebirth.
Oh, wait, just kidding.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Let's
I
go.
just wanted to see what happened to Mags. Baby. All right.
Let's go.
All right, are we
There,
ready
that
for the
one.
next?
That one was definitely Mags, not the flower.
Shh.
Mags, let's go.
Wait, we
baby.
got it. We got it on record though, right?
Yeah.
We can
Let
we
the
clip
record
that
show.
Clam and use that in the Discord?
I'm sure it will happen.
They'll watch it.
Oh, I'm sure it will too. If we don't, somebody will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
All right.
know.
The next category is Best Nintendo First Party on the Switch 2. Here are the nominees: Star Fox, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Pokemon Legends ZA, Kirby Air Riders, Zelda
Age of Imprisonment.
Age of... I was
Oh, it
like
was AOI.
AOL.
I saw that too
I'm
on
like,
the
what
list.
is it? AIM? Age of Imprisonment, Mario Kart World, and Mario Kart Tennis.
Mario Tennis
Slam.
Fever.
Did I say Mario Kart Tennis?
Yeah.
Mario Tennis.
That would be an interesting game.
That would be. Drive
Playing
Playing
around.
going
tennis
on.
during the racetrack. I would love that.
Yeah.
Actually,
That sounds insane.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
that'd be sick.
Sick.
Thanks, Brandon.
Wow.
I did that
only-
like 3 times, like in an episode like 2 weeks ago. You didn't do it any of the times.
I know.
It
I
took us
felt
to
so
play it.
bad. I felt it.
Yeah. I was like, I kept doing it, and I did it more often, hoping Brandon would like
Aw.
engage, but he didn't.
I'm
glad you
surprised we
did this
made it
time.
an hour into the show before you actually said it.
Yeah, me too.
That's
For
surprising.
me,
Got to ramp it up.
my vote goes to Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Mm.
Donkey Kong Bonanza's sick.
It is sick.
Okay,
So
okay.
sick. Eat bananas, get sick.
Yeah,
Might.
Bleh.
They'll stop you up,
Um,
actually. Anyway.
Donkey Kong, it was hard for me to choose.
Okay, Max.
Wow. It was hard for me to choose between Donkey Kong
Hmm.
Bonanza and Mario Kart World.
Mm.
That makes sense.
I had
Yeah.
so much fun with that, like whatever battle royale Mario Kart World mode that they had. Game changer. Nobody talked about that enough. I don't even know what it's called, but I played that mode obsessively. It was so much fun and addictive. But Donkey Kong Bonanza is easily the best Donkey Kong game. And I just had so much fun breaking everything. You know, my daughter and I played that together, and she loved breaking everything and collecting the bananas. I thought that it performed really well. I just thought it was genuinely a great time. And then that closeout. Like, if I don't know if you guys finished the game, but
I heard
the
the ending was
ending-
good. Yeah.
Spoilers.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say what happens, but the ending is so good, so unexpectedly amazing. And it just like, I want to talk about it, but I can't. Donkey Kong Bonanza gets the win for me.
Hmm.
All right. All right, Mags.
I don't know. For me, and I think my like JRPG bias is going to come out, but it's going to be Pokemon Legends ZA. That game just felt so special when I played it. I just feel like it reinvigorated like a love of Pokemon for me. And so I think I hold it very high for that reason. But I also just thought it was a really, really cool way to have like your first Pokemon entry on this new console because it mixed things up. Like, I know we expected like a mainline, and we'll get it. We're going to get Wind and Waves next year, and that's going to be huge on the Switch 2. But like, I don't know.
It's going to be huge. Yeah. It's going to be unbelievable.
Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I just thought ZA was such a cool way to kind of mix the formula up with the combat, with just kind of how they designed the overall map and how it was more vertical versus like open world. I loved that it had a pretty good story with a pretty crazy ending that felt very meaningful. So there was just a lot in this game that I loved and that I felt like was just a change that Pokemon kind of needed to just like refresh some things. And it kind of like runs parallel to how the Switch as a console kind of needed a refresh and a change in certain things. And we got that with the Switch too. So this game kind of mirrors that with the Pokemon franchise. So they go well together. And that's why I'm going to pick it.
That's a good argument and a good choice. I am probably going to I already agreed with Mags once, so I'm going to agree with Slam.
I knew this was
I'm
going to
gonna go-
happen.
I
It's
knew
I'm going to
fine.
go with Donkey Kong Bonanza on this one. So hear me
It's
out.
worth it. No, I get it.
I think all of these games are amazing.
Yeah.
Mario Kart World, I want to shout out Mario Kart World. The game is very, very fun. The open world is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And there's just so much that you can do. There are things that I didn't even realize you could do that I'm just now finding out, like over the last couple of weeks. And the reason I won't pick Mario Kart World, it is Mario Kart, but I think it's because it's kind of a strange situation for people who are fans of Mario Kart 8. World did something new and unique and genuinely cool, but like people weren't necessarily asking for an open world Mario Kart. Like they just wanted Mario Kart 8 but better. So I think that's probably why it didn't land the way that Mario Kart normally lands with some people, but I do think it is an incredible game. All of these other games are awesome. Pokemon Legends ZA, we all agreed here. We had a good time with it. I know it's for some reason controversial and some people were not happy with it, but it's a good, fun game.
I love
it's a great game.
We all loved it.
Yeah. But I do think like Donkey Kong Bonanza is like next level, like Mario Odyssey jump Donkey Kong game, whereas Pokemon Legends ZA was a lot of fun, but I expect that Wind and Waves is going to be that next level for Pokemon.
Yeah, I think so too.
So if we have this conversation in a year, I think Winds and Waves will probably be very high up there, and well, at least that's what I'm hoping. Right, it's going to be high up there in the Pokemon series. But Donkey Kong Bonanza was just something else. Like the freedom, the flexibility, being able to completely destroy the terrains and find all these things. Like no matter what you're doing, you're constantly finding things, getting rewards, having to figure things out. The platforming is so good. The puzzles are so good. The character and story keeps you hooked and interesting. Like it's very Nintendo. It feels kind of like a quintessential Nintendo first party launch and long-term game. Like I guarantee you for decades, Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to be a highly reviewed, fondly remembered game. So for me, I feel like Donkey Kong Bonanza makes sense as the top runner here.
Yeah, I don't think we can go wrong.
Yeah. So the winner,
the Level Up Legacy Best Nintendo First Party Award goes to Mario Tennis. Just kidding. Donkey Kong Bonanza. All right.
Let's go.
Yay.
Let's go, baby. Because that game was sick. All right.
It was so sick.
All right. This next one's going to be fun. Next category, the biggest Switch 2 fumble. Slam, have at it.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
The nominees.
Nominees.
Game key cards. It's not going to be that. Chat. Chilling by the fire, which admittedly is not Nintendo's fault, but it was still a fumble. The camera. Welcome Tour not being a part of the launch, and you have to buy it separately. And no new Persona.
Who put that nominee in there?
I wonder who made this list. Who could say? Who could say?
Yeah, it wasn't me or anything.
Nah.
Yeah. So
I didn't even know you put that in there.
He was just reading the list.
I mean, that is frustrating.
Yeah.
You know, I would prefer to play Persona 4 Revival next year on the Switch 2. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that.
Nope.
But I can play it elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that's the biggest Switch 2
because you
fumble.
bought your PS5 Pro before it was $1 billion.
Yeah, before it was $10 million.
Yep.
Chilling by the Fire, horrible game. But I'll
Slam
save that.
hates this game so much.
I'll save that one for later as well. Really? Game sucks. Then,
you just get so like fiery about it, pun intended.
I do, man. I mean,
he's not chilling when he's talking
I'm
about
not
this
chilling by the fire. I'm raging by the
He's
fire.
seething by the
You're,
fire.
screaming, you know. Okay. Jokes aside, I'm going with the game key cards. Look, Brandon has got me back into game collecting. For a long time, I lived in New York City for most of my adult life, and I had to get rid of most, if not, I'd say like 90% of my physical games collection because I was just running, I didn't have the space, right? I moved out of New York City. I was still riding the digital route because that's what I've been used to. So I bought like pretty much everything digital still, just out of convenience, and it was what I was used to. But after talking to Brandon, hanging out with Brandon, he influenced me to start collecting physical media again, and I've been collecting games and loving it, right? But check this out. Love that tin can. But check this out.
So resonant.
Okay. Game key cards came along shortly after I started collecting games again, almost to spite me, saying, you know what?
Just to spite
Slam really likes physical games now. We should just make them not real. Let's just like come up with an idea to make physical games not real. Yeah, so they did that, and then everyone was making game key cards. It was cool. Like I was like, okay, maybe like a few companies are going to use game key cards. Everything was game key cards, especially at launch. It's like if it wasn't a Nintendo game, it was a game key card.
Or Marvelous. Shout out.
Yeah, Marvelous. Shout out.
Shout outs. Yeah.
So that was frustrating. Still is frustrating. I do like to see that there are some new games releasing that are not game key cards, like Second Chapter, Trail in the Sky Second Chapter. First chapter was game key cards.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it wasn't. Nope.
It wasn't?
Nope.
Did it have a Switch 2 version or?
Yeah,
Oh, no,
it was
it didn't
Switch
have
1.
It had a
was a
Switch
Switch
1 version, and you could upgrade it
Okay, so that's
very
why.
cheaply, like for like $1. So
Okay,
yeah.
for me, it was like they were making it work in a way
Right.
that was like, you know, very feasible. But
Second Chapter is going to be on cart,
yep.
right?
Yep.
I'm
And it's-
very excited about that. Let's
And
go.
it does seem
Shout
like there
outs.
are more games coming like fully on cart
From
too.
smaller studios mostly
Yeah.
too, which is kind of wild because they don't have as much resources. So it's interesting that they kind of see what the importance is and then other companies don't. So,
Indiana Jones, surprisingly, that's a bigger company that was
Cyberpunk.
like, you know what, we're gonna put it all on cart. So it's happening. I'm hoping it continues to happen. I don't like the white box that says this is
it's ugly.
a game key card. I don't like it. I see it and I don't buy it. But I still buy the game digitally. I mean, but still,
It's the
I want to
principle,
buy the
though.
game. I want to buy the game physically. I can't buy the game physically if it's game key card. So I'm going to go with game key cards here
Yeah.
for this one, even though Chilling by the Fire is not a good game. Welcome Tour was a huge miss to just have that in the box. No new
Yeah.
Persona is devastating to me. And chat is a completely useless feature that most people don't use and takes up an entire button on the hardware itself. So shout out to all those things, but game key card is the biggest fumble for me.
All right, Mags. Give it to us straight.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think everything on this list is pretty annoying. But there are different levels to annoying, and there's different levels of harm. And I think as far as levels of harm, game key cards definitely take the cake on that. Mainly because it just moves us towards a future that makes it harder to own games physically, harder to collect games, and that's not good for anyone. I know there's a lot of people who don't really care about that sort of thing, but I think that we've just seen a pretty harmful trend in media in general where it is harder to own things physically or own them at all, because it's either, you know, if you're talking about TV or movies, they're relegated to streaming services unless you have a physical copy, and that has kind of filtered down into gaming as well. And so if you do really enjoy a piece of media, it's just becoming harder and harder to own it securely. Yep. And so game key cards are just kind of the latest iteration of that, and it's not good. It's really the only, I think, dark cloud above the Switch 2. Like, I know that some of the things mentioned in this list, like, they're annoying, but I don't think it necessarily brings the console experience down. This brings the console experience down because you can't even really get excited in the same way, because you're always going to have that worry about a third party game. Am I going to be able to get this fully on cart or not? And so I think it's detrimental to the Switch 2 for that reason. And it just hurts consumers more, already more than we already have been hurt from just a lot of scummy practices by businesses. So yeah, it's key cards for me.
Yep.
I wonder if it'll probably be chilling by the fire for Brandon.
Yeah, actually, I was going to talk about the camera. No.
I was going to talk about the camera.
It's going to be, so I think I agree with how Mags phrased that. Like, all of these are annoying. Like, the chat and the camera feature, like,
it's dumb.
Feel very gimmicky and not in a good way. Like, they feel kind of dead. Nobody's really talking about them anymore. Nobody's developing with them in mind. Welcome Tour. Like back on the Wii, from what I remember reading, Reggie had to like fight them to get Wii Sports bundled with the Wii. So they've already had this conversation and crossed this bridge, and so it was weird for me that they just took Welcome Tour out, which was, it should have been bundled, and tried selling it separately. I'm curious what those sales numbers look like. I would imagine they're not very good. Obviously, no new Persona is always devastating, but
yes.
But the key cards for me, again, like, I don't think people realize this, like, pushing to the digital future. People don't really think about the consequences of that and losing ownership. If servers shut down, or if I was for some weird reason banned on my Nintendo account, like, I can still play my physical games. The same is true of all of these other consoles, right? But there have been several instances of people getting banned for reasons that didn't make any sense, that lost complete access to their digital library, both on Sony and on Xbox. To be fair, I don't know if that's true of Nintendo. I've heard it mostly for Sony and Xbox. Mm-hmm. My own niece had an instance where she was banned on Xbox for no reason. It had nothing to do with bad behavior. I forget what the actual reasoning was, but she tried to challenge them on it, and they gave her the runaround, and there was nothing she could do about it as a consumer because they had full control over all the games. And she spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on games that she could no longer access and had to buy again when she got her account restored. Like, it just screwed everything up. So yes, I am a physical collector, but like, my core concern is and has always been ownership. We as consumers don't owe these companies anything. It's an exchange of goods, an exchange of service. So it still makes zero sense to me that anybody would ever try to argue for the digital future, key cards, anything like that. Like, these are anti-consumer. These are not designed for your good. They are designed for the company good as they perceive it. And the fact that we're even at this state is wild to me. And the fact that people will actually advocate for those things is wild to me, because you're basically saying that it is not only okay, but it is good for companies to take advantage of you. And there is no other context in society where you hear people being like, you know what? I really love it when billionaires make it way easier for themselves and they give us garbage. So I don't know why this is even a conversation in the gaming industry in terms of like consumers. Consumers should be united in the fact that this is all bad practice, not good for consumers, and not something that should be the standard. All of that said, not to mention the fact that game key cards are literally meaningless. Like, they are meaningless pieces of plastic. Yeah, I suppose if you like game cases, then you can pay for a game case. You got that going for you. But in terms of the actual software, you lose the convenience of digital, but you still have all of the downsides. And now you just have a piece of plastic that does not function without servers.
Well, key cards suck, but there are two benefits over just purely digital, and that like you can resell them easier, and you can
resell them technically,
and you can share them easier than purely digital.
You can now on Nintendo, you can share your digital stuff too.
Yeah, but like with a complete stranger or just between family or like
sure.
other accounts. Like if
Yeah.
I suppose if your use case is you want to go to a complete stranger,
or if you have a friend that's not like on your family account,
yeah.
or like, you know what I mean? And
That's
you're
fair.
like, hey, let's trade. Let's borrow this. You could let me borrow this game and borrow that game. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not in that scenario. I just want to call it out as, I just want to, cover all bases.
Yeah. Well, and in that same vein too, like there are certain games that are not able to fit on a cart.
Right.
And so
there is a use case.
There are exceptions, but overall it's bad. And I think we're all on that point.
There's been a lot of discussion. There's been a lot of discussion even in the Discord around like there are other solutions of that don't require key cards. Like there are ways of packaging the data so that it can still be on the disc or the cart or whatever. So there were other paths Nintendo could have gone down. And I know a lot of people are like, well, it's not Nintendo because Nintendo first party games don't have key cards, but like Nintendo this is their ecosystem. They created this solution, right? So anyway,
but we are also shouting out third party support. And if that's what it took to get there, I understand why it came to their mind. It's just not the best scenario. I'm in agreement. My argument is that game key cards, but
my argument is that like saying the game key card is good because it is a solution that has been used is not the same thing as saying this is the only solution that could have worked. And it certainly was not a solution that had consumer interest in mind. So that's always going to be an issue for me. So anyway, I've gone on enough game key card tirades on this channel for you guys to go check out in other episodes if you haven't seen them already. But absolutely, all of that to say, this is the biggest fumble for me, for sure.
So we all agree. Upside down trophy goes to
game key cards.
Let's go.
Which are not sick. All right. Now to a happier category.
Yay.
You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
This is for the most anticipated Switch 2 game. This is, I don't know if we're going to agree on this one.
No, we won't. I think we're all going to have a different option here.
Yeah.
So here are the nominees. Zelda Ocarina of Time, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, Trails in the Sky Second Chapter, Kingdom Hearts 4, and Xenoblade Genesis. Oh my gosh, guys. Can we give multiple awards out? Can we just say all of it?
All of them?
They're all they're all anticipated. Let's just say that. Like we're so excited about all of them.
I don't know if I could. This is rough, dude. Oh.
I'll take it away.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy. It's all you.
Zelda Ocarina of Time for me.
Yeah,
and
that tracks.
I'm thanks, Mags.
No,
you know me
so
well.
Okay, I was just like, I knew he was gonna pick that.
No, I love. There really is a special place in my heart for this game, and I love JRPGs deeply. Okay, this is the genre I play 95% of the time. Okay, but when it comes to Ocarina of Time, when I hear the music, when I go through the dungeons, when I see the characters and like think about everything associated with that game, there is a level of nostalgia for Ocarina of Time with me that is unmatched by anything in my life, probably.
That's true for a lot of people too.
Yeah.
This is one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. And that includes all media, movies, video games, books, anything. Ocarina of Time is one of my favorite experiences. So seeing the fact that this is getting remade seemingly like a substantial glow up, likely some new bells and whistles. And I'm really excited to see what Nintendo is doing with this. It's my most anticipated because of the potential to make one of my favorite things of all time even better. So for that, Ocarina of Time is my most anticipated game.
Oh, bro. All right, Mags.
Okay, so I want to preface this because it may come as a surprise. I'm gonna go Xenoblade Genesis.
What?
I thought I had a feeling she was going to go
Yeah.
Xenoblade Genesis.
And here's part of the reason is because it's a first party exclusive for the Switch 2. And I feel like that just kind of makes it a little bit more of a better like fit for this category versus Trails in the Sky Second Chapter remake. I mean, that is one of my most like favorite games of all time. And so getting to see that remade is going to be incredible, but it's not a Switch 2 exclusive. And we already know
Also not new.
it's not new. We already know a lot about it. We know what's going to happen in the story, and that's fine. I don't think that devalues the game. But
No.
I think from like an excitement standpoint and like an anticipation standpoint, like it's Xenoblade Genesis for me because we don't know a lot about it. We know that it's really going to push the Switch 2 to its limits in terms of what a JRPG can do and look like and how it's going to perform. Like it's going to be incredible. We love the Xenoblade series, and this is kind of just like the next iteration of that. And I can't wait to see what they do with it. So for me, I think it's got to be that one because I'm ready to see what Monolith Soft can do with a game that was built for the Switch 2 and not something that they just made a Switch 2 edition for. Like this is like the next step in their, catalog of this series and this franchise. So yeah, and it looks like it's going to have a female lead, which is also just super exciting for me too. But yeah, Xenoblade Genesis.
There's all kinds of connections to Xenogears and stuff too.
I know.
Like,
I've
it's
watched the
gonna be
lore
wild.
videos, Brandon. Like I'm ready. Even though I've not played Xenogears, like I've listened to a lot because I'm just so excited to see what's there and like what they're gonna do. So there's just already so much excitement for
That was
this one.
definitely my follow up for sure. With Xenoblade Genesis.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know. Okay, let me just go through them and then I'll have to pick one. So like Zelda Ocarina of Time, to Slam's point, like one of the most impactful games of all time.
That's
for those of us
so
who played
true.
it.
Mm-hmm.
The way they set that up in the trailer, the way they turned it into this like legend with the way they were doing some of the initial storytelling in the trailer. Like I am so freaking
We're gonna
hyped
get
for this
voice
game.
acting.
Yeah, like it's gonna be wild, and I'm so curious to see what they do. So that's like probably one of the top most anticipated games ever. Because that game is so special. Like when I got the analog 3D, I booted up Ocarina of Time because I have the cartridge and I played it. And again, the music, everything about it, like starting it up again, I was just like, oh man, this game is so freaking good. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. I am the Fire Emblem nut here. I was obsessed with Three Houses. I mean, I've been obsessed with every Fire Emblem game. This game looks unbelievably good. It looks like they're taking all kinds of different directions with the classes and what the characters can do, how you build them, what the story is going to look like. But it also looks like it's going to have all kinds of crazy lore implications for what we learned in Fire Emblem Three Houses. So that's, again, one of my most anticipated games of the year. Trails Second Chapter, y'all know I played the first one. I'm just
Biggest
getting
Trails
into
fan
it.
of all time.
Right.
Yeah, I am the most invested Trails fan of all time. And I haven't played Second Chapter, and after beating First Chapter, like I want to get my hands on this so bad. It's got a on-cart physical, so I'm happy about that. Kingdom Hearts 4. Oh, bro. Kingdom Hearts 4, we've been waiting for decades for this game, and it looks so good. And the fact that we're kind of like, it feels like we're kind of starting anew, like this is like a new arc. There's so much potential with that one. I'm so freaking excited. It looks incredible. And then Xenoblade is like Fire Emblem for me. Guys.
It's a tough call. You got to pick one, though.
I think for the sake of not dragging this out, I'm going to choose Xenoblade Genesis as my pick. Honestly, I could pick any of these.
Yeah.
Like, for real, genuinely, I could pick any of these. I am so hyped for all of these.
I'm happy with this pick. This is a great... the award should go to probably Xenoblade. But
yeah, Xenoblade is just so next level and so underrated, and Genesis is going to be freaking
And there's so much unknown for Genesis as well.
Yeah, we still don't know much about it. And so getting all that information is going to be fun.
So the award goes to...
Zelda Ocarina of Time, Xenoblade Genesis.
Yay.
Oh man, all of these are so... I'm so happy we're in a situation right now where we're looking at a stack of games like this and we're able to just be hyped about all of it. Because holy crap, dude.
I know.
Like, what a lineup. What a freaking lineup.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
It's true.
And going from that category to the next one, Brandon, take it away.
We got the worst Switch 2 game. We only have a handful here. I'd love to hear your comments. Let us know what you think the worst game is, especially if we didn't choose it. But we have our nominees here. Dragon Drive, if you even know what that is. Welcome Tour, which we've already talked about a little bit. And Chillin' by the Fire. All right, Slam. I have no idea what you're going to choose. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Chillin' by the Fire. For a few reasons. One, what's the point of this game? Two, Brandon peed on me in it. Three, it's really expensive.
Kind of up the experience for me, but
how much is that game? Like $25 or something?
It was $15.
It was 15.
Okay.
We talked
but it's
about
on sale right now for 10.
Okay. Well, maybe. No, don't. Come on. You chop wood, you throw it in a fire. That's it. It's the whole game.
Well, you need more than that.
You have to get the moisture off the wood, and
you gotta roast the marshmallows. You can play instruments.
It's not a game. So that's my vote. Chilling by the Fire. Let the record show.
All right. Let the record show. Mags, what about you?
I had fun with Chilling by the Fire, so I think I'm going to have to give this one to Welcome Tour. Almost forgot the name because it's a glorified tech demo that should have been included with the console. And I don't understand what Nintendo was thinking, not, just having it there and not trying to sell it separately. It just, I don't know. It just wasn't well thought out. And I feel like it kind of soured the launch a little bit. Not that it wasn't exciting. I think the hype levels were there, but this was just a weird detail that just kind of didn't need to be there. It didn't need to be a thing.
There was kind of a sense back then too, because people were already concerned about the price at that stage.
Yeah.
There was kind of the sense of Nintendo, are you being greedy right now? Because nobody wants to pay for this, but you're trying to make people pay for it anyway.
Yeah. And people already had issues with the price, which back then, sure. Now we kind of understand that it really wasn't a bad deal. But I feel like it just kind of added some negative perspective to the launch when it just should have been really exciting. And it just didn't need to be something sold separately.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, it should be Welcome Tour.
You're just salty.
We had fun and laughs with Chilling by the Fire.
We did. It was fun.
All right.
We did. The one time we played and then never played it again.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Welcome Tour as well. Mags already summed it up pretty well there. It just didn't make any sense and didn't really provide much value as a game that you would pay for.
Right.
So, yeah.
It definitely wasn't sick.
No, it was not sick. All right. So the worst Nintendo Switch game award goes to Welcome Tour.
Boo.
Boo. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's not go.
Let's
Agreed.
not go.
Unless I am going pee on Slam and chilling by the fire. Let's go,
Let's
baby.
go
All
to
right,
the
the
next
last
topic.
category. Best Switch 2 moment. And look, there is only one nominee for this one, and it is the winner. And it is the latest Nintendo Direct, which was
Agree.
not only one of the best Nintendo Directs of all
Filled
time, but quite
out
possibly
a lot
the
of
greatest.
nominees in this list,
Yeah.
right? Our most anticipated games.
No
like,
notes. This was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Quite
Great
possibly one of the
Nintendo
greatest
Direct.
showcases of all time.
And set
For real.
Nintendo up for success at a time. I mean, it just catapulted them ahead. They have a Nintendo Direct like that, and then like a couple weeks later, everybody like Sony and Microsoft are laying people off and raising the prices of their consoles. So
Yeah.
it has put the Switch 2 on a very high upward trajectory.
Mhm.
And so that, I think, is very much why it is the best Switch 2 moment.
Yeah.
Absolutely structured
1000%.
brilliantly. The games we got were amazing. Like Nintendo brought it. It was so freaking good. All right. So the award for the best Switch 2 moment goes to the latest Nintendo Direct, baby. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
All right. All right.
All right.
Any final Switch 2 thoughts before we jump over to our members' questions, of which we have many?
We do.
We do have many,
We
so
have a
let's.
lot. Let's keep
I don't
it
have
short.
any more thoughts. Let's get into these questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we summed
All
it
right.
up.
Shout outs to the Switch 2. And now we're going to jump into our members' questions. So if you are new here, this is the segment of the show where we pull in questions we get from our members. They ask us every week, and we go through and we answer them. So you're welcome to join in our membership to help support us. Shout outs to all of our members that support us.
Shout-outs.
We very, very much appreciate you all. Seriously, you guys mean the world to us. And let's get into it. Oh my gosh, we have so many. Okay.
All right. Let's try to keep our answers succinct, guys.
Got that, Slam? All right.
Me.
First question.
I know, right? He knew what he was doing with saying that.
I know.
This is from Dark Ricky. He says, "Hey guys, I just want to start by saying this podcast has quickly become my favorite podcast on
Aw.
YouTube. Aw.
Love
You
that.
guys have created such a welcoming and fun environment. I have had my opinions often invalidated for being too young for the JRPG space, 26 this year. But I can tell
young.
you aren't the same kind of people. Nah, bro, you are good and welcome here.
Yeah, for sure.
Just wanted to let you guys know how grateful I am for you all. Aw.
We're
I
grateful
love
for you
this.
too.
As for my question, I was curious if you each have ever had a series or game that you had been interested in, but there's a certain element included or missing that has pushed you away. For example, I have always thought Zelda looked interesting, but tend to struggle with games where you can't level up. I also hate puzzles. Hope you all have a great week.
You
Sorry,
know,
Slam.
for a long time, for me, this was visual novels.
Okay.
Because I was turned off by games that didn't have like a real gameplay element
Mm-hmm.
being the center
Sure.
focus. And as much as I liked stories, I always felt like I could get really good stories elsewhere. Right. So I really, it took me a long time to like dip my toe into visual novels, but then I played Danganronpa.
Oh yeah,
and
classic.
it changed my life. So yeah, I now like visual novels, and I pick them. I don't play them all the time, but I do pick them up on occasion. So that's my answer.
It's a good one. What about you, Max?
When I thought of this question, what came to mind was like a series, and I hate to say this, but I feel like you guys probably expect it. Dragon Quest.
No, I knew you were going to say
I
Dragon
know,
Quest.
I know.
Don't say it.
Well, and here's the thing, like I do want to try it again, but I think what has been tough for me is I just don't always feel a draw to these games like I do with other JRPGs because of kind of the more like classic formula. So that's kind of like something where I feel like I'm interested in it, but there's just like a hook that's missing for me. And so it's been hard for me over the years to like really want to commit to it. Not saying I won't give it another try, because I will, but just with the nature of this question, that's kind of what I thought of, because I feel like when I compare it to other JRPGs, it just doesn't seem as interesting to me as others do. So,
Hey, Slam, remember that one time she used Dragon Quest 11 in the draft?
got to play to win,
All right.
boys.
For me, honestly, it's like Souls games,
Makes
Souls
sense.
types or whatever you call them, Souls likes. I don't know what it is. Like, I think it's probably because my first introduction to Dark Souls, when Dark Souls came out, was like, hey, this is really freaking hard, and if you look for the story, it's there, but it's not really story driven in the same way that I get from my other RPGs.
Yeah.
And I don't particularly like punishing games. There's a level at which I do, but it's within a certain sphere of comfort. Like, so Fantasian, like the end of Fantasian is pretty punishing, but I got really into that. But for some reason, the Souls like games, I'm just like, I'm good. Like, if I want my stories and I want difficulty, I can get it in a format that I would prefer. So I haven't actually done a lot of playing of Souls likes at all.
Good
Maybe
question.
one day. Yeah, that was a great question.
You never know.
All right. Next one is from our homie Raylix. What's up, buddy? He said, we have to stop meeting up like this. Agreed. He said, hey, guys and gal. I'm behind a few episodes of the pod at the time of writing this, but I hope all is well. Well, you'll get to this eventually. My question for you all today is, what's a pattern in your favorite JRPGs that you only recognized after looking back at all of them together? I found that some of mine are the concepts of light and dark, introspection, as well as the power of friendship. Bonus question, what are your opinions on fried pickles / tomatoes?
Okay.
Pattern. The power of friendship you mentioned is a good one. I'm going to try to think of one that he doesn't list here. I think a pattern that I see a lot of the time is I think I saw this more in kind of like PS3, Xbox 360, like maybe early PS4, was the tropiness. Like you have like those very specific like JRPG beats that almost every game was going to hit, right? And I didn't realize them at the time while I was playing them. But when you look back at them or revisit them through remasters, for example, you start to see those things and they stand out a little bit more, that now that games have gotten a little bit more creative in how they structure their stories and their characters and their heroes and things like that. So a hero might have like an up and down and, peaks, highs and lows and things like that. And they're going to be pretty similar in some of the older games, but nowadays I'm seeing a lot more variation in that. So as I went back through remasters, I've seen those things stand out to me a little bit more than they did at the time of playing them. And I love fried pickles with some ranch.
That's right.
I like the fried pickles that are like the little bites, but I also like the full spears. Okay, if you've ever been to a place that'll do a full fried pickle spear, they know ball. All right. Fried tomatoes as well. Fry those up. Give them to me.
Ooh, fried tomatoes.
Fried onions. Those two are good.
Fried Oreos.
Sure.
Fried butter.
No.
French fries.
French fries. Very good.
Mozzarella sticks. Fried cheese.
Fried cheese is great.
Cheese curds.
Now we're going to get hungry. It's way too late for that.
Mac and cheese balls.
Yeah. Ooh, mac and cheese bites.
We got to stop.
All right. Go, Mags.
Yeah. A few patterns that I was thinking of in some of my favorite JRPGs are the theme of self-discovery. I think it's really cool to see characters kind of start in a specific state, and then as they go throughout their journey, they learn more about themselves and whether that's good or bad or a mix, usually it's something that they confront, and it usually provides a really satisfying character arc. You see this a lot in the Trails games, which are some of my favorites, where you kind of get to know a character and then you get to see them grow throughout the course of several games, which is a really cool part of that series. And so some of my favorite games are when you can see this character that you start to get to know really transform and become sometimes the best version of themselves, sometimes the worst, but still come out more aware of who they are so that they can be comfortable in that and accept that and move forward. So I really love that. And then another theme that I really like seeing in some of my favorite games is just the concept of being able to get justice for something that's happened to you. I think that's huge because in the real world, that can be very difficult. And I think that we're wired as human beings to want to see justice happen and happen correctly and fairly, and it doesn't always. So when you have some agency in a game where you're able to do that, it feels really good. And I've often enjoyed seeing that play out in the games that I've played too.
Fried pickles, tomatoes?
Oh, both. Yes. Fried everything.
Word.
Let's go.
I originally read this as like, what are some patterns in your favorite JRPGs that you sort of notice that you connect with generally? So I was going to say like breaking games. Like I tend to look back on my favorite RPGs, and the ones that I can break wide open are usually the ones that I have the most fun with. But in terms of like a theme in the story, I do find that some of the most compelling stories to me usually revolve around growth through suffering. So, yeah, I don't want to spoil things because some games that's like a spoiler for, but there's something deeply meaningful about going through the trials, going through suffering, and what that does to the characters, how it forces them to grow, how it forces them to challenge what they believe about themselves, what they believe about others, and kind of refine as a character until you get to a point where at the end they've sort of come out the other side as either developing into a true hero or being refined as a hero. I find that to be particularly meaningful. There's a number of other themes as well that I love and latch on to, but all of my favorite games have some element of that. As for fried pickles and tomatoes, shout outs to fried tomatoes. Fried pickles, I don't generally like pickles.
Love pickles.
However, I
Gorillas,
recently
the goat.
I recently shared a fried pickle, and it was not as bad as I thought. So who knows? Maybe one day.
Someone is putting you on, Brandon.
Yeah.
I think it does tone down the like sourness of it. So it makes it a little bit more like palatable if you don't love that.
Especially with ranch.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say, dip it in ranch,
Always is a good staple.
Yeah. All right. The next one is from Fantasy Magic. I don't think we've gotten a question from them before. So here we go.
Welcome.
Hey guys, curious if you have a preference for English voices or Japanese voices when playing games. Does it vary by franchise? Do you switch it up as you play to get a feel or stick to your choice from the beginning? If a game doesn't have your preference voice language, does that make you less likely to play it or maybe not prioritize it? Sometimes it can be fun to replay a game and switch the language and appreciate slight differences in personality and interpretation from voice direction, even if the script stays the same. Maybe this can spark a discussion on localization in general, some of the franchises / games you think does it best, and maybe some of the ones that you aren't too fond of. Sorry if a similar question has been asked in the past. Haven't watched all the episodes yet. Thanks for all the great content. You guys have created a very fun, positive space on the internet, and I'm sure we all appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sweet.
For me, most of the time I do English, but I do Japanese on occasion. Also, I do play games where there is no English option, and it doesn't deter me from playing it. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, one of my favorite, most underrated games ever.
I was about to say that.
Fully in Japanese, and I loved it. I thought all the voice acting was stellar. The Atelier games. I love most of those games. Those are all in Japanese, and the voice acting for those is amazing. But I think typically I will do English VA for most of my games. And most of the time, it's really good. Sometimes it's not. And if Japanese is available, I will switch to that, especially if it's significantly better. But that's where I'm at on it.
Max?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I normally do English just because I like to be able to listen and not always have to read subtitles. But I don't, having a game that doesn't have an English dub doesn't deter me from playing it. If it's something that I'm interested in from like a story, gameplay, character, visual standpoint, like I love the Blue Reflection games. They have Japanese audio. And then, of course, there are circumstances where the English dub is not good. I remember a very specific game. It was called A Centennial Case, a Shijima story. It was a very obscure Square Enix game that is kind of like a mystery solving game with live action segments. The English dub was pretty rough. So definitely switched to Japanese there. But I think it just depends on the game. Most of the time I prefer English, but I feel like voice actors are just so talented that you really can't go wrong most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm similar. I would say my default is always English. I don't have a strong opinion about it. But Japanese has never, if there's no English, that has never deterred me at all. So in and outside of gaming, like inside gaming, games like Tokyo Mirage Sessions or other games like that where it's just Japanese, like if it's a good game, it's a good game. But even like when Advent Children first came out, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, it was posted online in Japanese before it came out in English, and I ate that up, right? Or there have been some anime where I've watched it in Japanese, not because I have a strong opinion about it. I know some people do, like on the internet, there are great debates over this topic, but it's just kind of like I can access this content now, and if there are subtitles, then what's stopping me from just enjoying this now? I don't care enough about the English voice acting to stop myself from enjoying it. So that's kind of where I stand on it. Not super strongly opinionated. If I want to access the content, then I will. All right. That was a good question.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is from Paul Cassetta. Said, hey, you guys, hope you're doing great. Sorry I haven't posted a question in a while. June has been a bit of a hectic month. I did, however, have time to watch the long JRPGs worth your time ranking video. Very enjoyable watch, by the way. And it got me thinking not just about the longer games I played and enjoyed, but the shorter JRPGs that not only were faster to get through, obviously, but that actually hit a bit harder than most of the longer ones. Obviously, games like Clair Obscur come to mind. I don't care if I classify it as a JRPG, seeing as how it's heavily influenced by and plays like them. Parasite Eve is another that's pretty short and easy to get through, yet personally I feel it's better than many of the bigger JRPGs that came out around the same time. So my question for you guys, are there any shorter JRPGs that not only did you enjoy, but that you felt actually do story, characters, gameplay, etc. better than some of the bigger epics of their time or even today?
Oh, so many. I made a few lists of short JRPGs actually on my channel that I enjoy. I love it when I can knock out a great JRPG in 50 hours or less. And I know I say 50 hours and that's like long, or that sounds long for most people, but most JRPGs are pretty long. So I'll even knock it down lower than that, and I'll sit around the 30-hour mark. And a couple recommendations of mine would be Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Great game, a lot shorter. I like Live Alive a lot. I think Live Alive is really good and does a lot of really unique things. And not only is it cohesively like one package is shorter JRPG, but it is actually a bunch of short JRPGs packaged into one short JRPG, and it's a ton of fun. So I guess those two would be my recommendations. But I think that there's plenty of options out there of JRPGs that can tell their stories in a pretty, concise way in a short amount of time, and you can have a great time with them. It doesn't have to be a 70 to 100 hour epic to be a good game.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I think that while longer games have more time to set up story and character development, it's not necessarily a prerequisite to a good story or good character development. And I think one developer that's really nailed that in like a shorter time frame is Gust, who does the Atelier games and Blue Reflection games. Those games can be long, but they don't have to be. It kind of depends on how much you want to engage with the crafting systems. But if you're playing mainly for the story and the overall narrative, those games, especially Blue Reflection, can really get into some pretty tough issues and emotional territory. And it's done really well. And it doesn't need a lot of time to really set the stage for that. So I think those are some examples that come to mind for me. And I think if there's just a focus on the story and the characters, as long as that is like kind of top of mind when the developers are creating these games, I don't necessarily think you need a lot of time as long as the focus is there. And in those, it is a lot of the time.
Yeah. I think for me, you mentioned Parasite Eve. Parasite Eve is a strong contender. Chrono Trigger is kind of an obvious one. I feel like a lot of people think Chrono Trigger is longer than it is, but you can get through Chrono Trigger in 20, 30 hours. Like, it's not really that long. And that's a good classic that goes a lot of places that you wouldn't expect. There's a number of other ones, but I think those are the top of mind ones for me that are really strong contenders. Like Parasite Eve can take you like 12 hours, but that game and story sat with me. Like, I still think about Parasite Eve in a way that I don't think about some other games that I've played. And a lot of the games around that time, to your point, just had a lot of padding. I even think about Legend of Dragoon, such as just beat that. There's several instances in Legend of Dragoon where you're backtracking and things in a way that adds time, but doesn't really add a lot of value. So I think it makes sense that there's going to be some shorter JRPGs that do that well, especially around their time, that are going to stand out. All right. Next up, we got Medic on Ice. Love this guy. Hey guys, I'll just get straight to my question today. With Mags finishing up Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Slam having played through some of Daybreak, and Brandon and Slam completing Trails in the Sky first chapter, which hybrid system of combat do you guys prefer? Both combat systems seem very well liked in the community, while having different focuses on action and combat, but both are party-based systems, and both games use shiny rocks to build out your characters.
That's true.
Be kind to each other.
I think Rebirth has one of the best combat systems in all of video games. I think it handles the hybrid system of like swapping between party members, using different move sets, variation in combat strategy and challenge very well. I think it scales difficulty perfectly. I think it just is very creative in its design. And I have not personally played a combat system that I feel checks all the boxes for me in terms of just pure fun, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So while I have not played the latest Trails game, which I know Mags is going to speak heavily on as being probably the best combat system in video games, I have played some of Daybreak, which is the best Trails combat system I've played so far in my Trails journey. I've played up to some of Cold Steel 3. I think Rebirth just completely blows it out of the water, and it's not even close. But that's my personal opinion.
It's funny because I wasn't going to I think Rebirth's combat system is incredible. And I don't think Trails blows it out of the water, but I do think it's a little bit better. And I think the reason why is because the transition between the turn-based and action pieces of the combat just feels better in Trails. I just think that they like the way that you can gain buffs and bonuses because you start out the combat in action, you can stun the enemies, and then you move into the turn-based mode and it gives you all these buffs and advantages. It's just such a cool way to handle like these two separate things, infuse it together into something that's fun, that benefits you in combat, that allows you to do a lot of different things, both in the field in real time and in the turn-based modes. I just think cohesively it fits better. It's not that Rebirth system is bad. It's really fun and it's really well designed. I just don't feel like it feels as smooth as the Trail system. And I just think that the Trail system is a little more impressive to me because it takes these two very separate things and fuses them together into something
that's
that
the
works.
thing, though. I think that the Trail system is more divided. I think it's either action or turn-based. From my experience, it's like you can play it in action or you can play it in turn-based. But I actually like use the word cohesive, and I do think Rebirth's combat system is more cohesive.
I think Rebirth's combat system feels like an action system that you pause.
No, it's got more strategy to it.
I have played 70 hours. I know. That's how it feels to me. So I just think that like there's just a difference of opinion there, and that's fine. I just feel like they're both great. I think just the way that Trails handles it is a little bit more fun and a little bit more satisfying to me.
I think Rebirth is subjectively the right answer. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Subjectively, but we'll move on.
Bean Cake. We got Bean Cake. I love this guy too. Hello, beautiful people. Wishing you all the best wherever you are in your lives. Love listening to the podcast while I grind mandatory parts of the game or games. My question for today is, have you guys ever played a game that has impacted your life either from the message of the game or from a character that was so well written that you applied what you learned from it to real life? If you could give an example of a game and how it affected your life, that would be much appreciated, since I really love games that leave a lasting impression, as in Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
How many of us were going to choose Xenoblade Chronicles 3?
I thought of something different for this one, actually.
Okay.
Because I've said that
I knew
before.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 would come up, so I thought of something that's probably just as easily spotted, but, go ahead.
I'll let you guys go first on this one. I need to think for a sec.
All right, Max.
Cool. I'll go. So this one is like totally out of left field, but just stay with me. The game that I thought of for this was Emio, the Smiling Man.
Now, I love that game.
This is a like horror mystery visual novel where you have to solve a crime, and it goes to some really dark places. And I'm not going to spoil anything with the story, but what I will say is that one of the central themes of this game is what happens to someone when they don't have any support from people, from organizations, like they are just kind of left. And the tragedy that can come from something like that. So when I was playing this game, it kind of reinforced to me why the work that I do, like in my day job, is so important. I think sometimes we can get caught up in just kind of the daily grind of our jobs and like, oh, I have to go and get this done. But like, for those who don't know, I work at a health department and we provide services to people who can't afford health care, or can't afford food, can't afford a lot of the basic necessities. And seeing the consequences that come from the story of that game because a specific individual is not given support just kind of was just a nice like reminder to me, like the work that you do is important and it can really help people and save them from becoming a really bad version of themselves. So I guess in that sense, like that game has impacted my life because it just kind of reinforces why the work that we do and the support that we give to people and the time that we spend with them is a very valuable thing.
I'm not going to name my game so I can talk about it more freely without spoiling anything. That's the best way I know how to do this. There is a particular game that I've played that I absolutely love that touches on themes of the consequences of not processing tragedy wisely. And I played that game during a very, very difficult time in my life where I was experiencing tragedy, and that game just hit me so hard because in many ways I was still in the process of learning how to work through deep, dark feelings, emotions, experiences that I had never had before. And that game sort of forced me to grapple with even gaming itself, forced me to grapple with whether or not I was using these other forms of entertainment to avoid processing those things at the detriment of those around me, including my girls, to be completely honest. And it just it hit me, and it made me think deeply about the game, the message, all of these things for weeks, and forced me to grapple with some things that I hadn't quite been grappling with at that time. So that particular game just hit me at the right time, in the right place, in a way that stuck with me, still sticks with me, and probably will forever stand as one of my favorite games of all time.
Good answer.
You know, I might go with The Last of Us. There's a lot of things that happen in that game. Again, this is one where you really don't want to spoil in case you haven't played it.
It's tough, yeah.
But there's like some story beats and things that happen in that game that really make you wonder how you would have handled specific situations given being in a similar scenario. And as someone who's a parent and a father, a game like that's written that well and kind of sets up situations like that, it's really, I would say it's really cool when a game can actually do that. When a game can be like, what would I have done? And then a lot of the conversations stemming from that game are like, half people think this was the right move, half people think this was the right move. This is why. And honestly, there's really no wrong answer. Everybody's going to feel different. And everybody probably, a lot of people are going to handle that situation differently. But it was one of those like, wow, it's really interesting that the game chose to do this here. So I like to see it when games kind of like, of course you could close it out with like the traditional happy ending or whatever, but when a game kind of like leaves things open to interpretation like that, it can make you think. So that's my answer.
Yeah, good question.
All right. Next one's from I Am Maki. He said, "What's up, everyone? Hope y'all are doing well as always. Thanks again for answering our questions every week. My question this week is, what's the most norm-breaking or taboo story in a JRPG that you have played or know of? Taboo as in touching taboo subjects or generally any obscure subject in a serious manner. Like, what are some JRPGs that have elements in their story that you look at and thought, this wouldn't happen in your average JRPG story? Maybe it tackles some serious subjects or provides critical commentary on society or other things that most people think is normal. Maybe it has types of characters or party members that you wouldn't normally see in the genre. Mine would be the first Nier. Absolutely messed me up. The sequel fits this mold too, but isn't quite as soul-crushing as the first one."
So, taboo subjects, obscure subject matter.
I thought of one. I've got one.
If you've got one,
Me too.
Yeah, if you guys have one, you go ahead.
The Trail series, even though a lot of it is lighthearted, a lot of it is your traditional JRPG goodness, has gone to some very dark places throughout some of its games. I don't want to spoil anything, but essentially there is an organization in the Trail series that has done a lot of harm to young children and worked with other organizations that have harmed children. And I think that the series handles it well. It doesn't like sugarcoat it. It doesn't try to make it into something it's not. It just kind of gives you that. But like, I do remember being pretty shocked when I encountered it at first, because I'm like, this isn't your typical JRPG like tragedy or like, things you would normally see. But I think it does add depth to the story, and I'm being deliberately vague because I don't want to mention certain details about it, but I think it just kind of represents the evil that we see in the real world pretty accurately. And so I applaud Falcom for at least putting it in a way that is real and gritty and feels like it's something that you could see ripped from the headlines and doesn't turn away from that and kind of makes you as the player confront it, and have to kind of think about like, wow, this happened. Like, how do I feel about this? And how would I feel about this if I saw it happen in real life?
I think for me, I think like when I read this question, the game that pops to mind is Persona 5, because of some of the subject matter they tackle with the Phantom Thieves and the adults and the things that they're doing. I mean, they open up with like subject matter on the first palace that is like, whew,
really
that is
rough.
Right. And how they end up tackling it is even interesting and a little taboo too, to like change their heart and ultimately the risks of doing that, and the potential death of the person whose hearts are changing. So I think that would be my answer. I applaud Persona 5 for tackling that subject matter and then also handling it pretty well in the game. So yeah, I think that's my answer there.
The game that comes to mind for me is Octopath Traveler 0.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Man, that one was crazy.
0, yeah, especially for the first like half of the game. Like
when you're dealing with like the different evil,
whew,
you're like, wow.
it really goes there with all kinds of subjects like slavery and like oppression and murder, and like it gets really, really dark. And the story builds on that, but like the evil that each of the villains, the evil that they do is just like they don't really sugarcoat any of it. So that game is good and it's fun. And there's a lot of like lighthearted elements to it, but when it gets dark, it gets really dark. And that was kind of unexpected for me in that one, but I mean, it was well done. It was very memorable because of the way it handled all of that. So,
yeah.
All right, we got 2 more. Next up is A-Rock. All right, I gotta get my emoji game on.
Here we go.
Hello, guys. Hope you're all doing great. Halo, smile. I want you guys, your guys' thoughts on this bit, please. In today's world of telecommunication, consciously or subconsciously, we want to rate everything that we play or have a metric of measurement for every game we play. Not saying games are not fun, but you know what I mean. Ha 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 ha. And I realized that was killing the joy. How do you do a party hat? Like,
that works.
That was
what
perfect.
Made games really fun. To begin with. We all have our fallback comfort game, but that's a different story altogether. For example, if I play Elden Ring or Zelda, 2 of the best open worlds, that consciously or subconsciously I tried to compare every other game with them and got into the trap of not seeing the games for what they offer differently. Eyeballs. And recently I did this conscious effort for not comparing and enjoying the game for what it is with Raidu Remastered. And I loved it very much. Just to say instead, if I enjoyed it, then for me it was worth it. Thoughts? Thank you.
So
I'm still getting over
the
that
question,
sound effect.
yeah, because so the question here Do we think of game? Is it that we think of games differently because we want to assign a metric to them?
Yeah. So basically, I think the question is like, do we find that we can often enjoy certain games less because we're spending less time looking at the game for what it is and too much time comparing it to other games that we've played?
Okay, so for me, no, I don't do that. I make a very strong effort to play a game for what it is, right? You know, I'm not comparing Starbites to Final Fantasy X.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
So we can, like, as someone who reviews games, and I'm sure Mags, you could probably attest to this a little bit. There is kind of like, I feel a responsibility to make sure that I am experiencing this game kind of like in isolation, right? Don't want to have other great experiences that I've had take away from the experience I'm having right now. Right. And you need, after playing all of the games that I've played over the years, there is something good I can find in just about any game out there, even chilling by the fire. Okay.
So you're first.
So I think that if you can look at a game for what it is and try to have that experience like in isolation and not have like all the other things you're playing sitting there being compared to it, you can actually have a lot more fun with the games you play, and you can actually enjoy a lot more games that way. I would encourage you to say, like you mentioned, if I play Elden Ring or Zelda, two of the best open worlds, that consciously or subconsciously you try to compare every other game with them. Don't do that, man. You gotta get out of there, or else you'll never have a new favorite game. You'll always have like that one favorite game that every other game is kind of compared to, and then nothing's ever going to top it. So go in, experience every game like it's a brand new experience and you've never experienced anything like it before, and give it its time. Give it its time of day. That's my advice.
Yeah. Yeah, I would echo a lot of that. One thing that helps me is that I often just play one game at a time. I know that doesn't work for everyone, and I'm not saying, do that if it doesn't work for you, but it does help me just kind of focus solely on one game and appreciate it for what it is without having to kind of think back about other games and how it might compare. Because, yeah, I think it can get tough if you try to compare like maybe a new game to some of your favorite games all the time. I don't personally, consciously or subconsciously do that. Like I'm just trying to like zone in on this like particular game I'm playing and what it offers. But if it is a challenge, then maybe just try to focus on one game at a time and appreciate what it has to offer. I think it's easier to do that when it's just kind of your main thing. So yeah, that's kind of how I take it.
I play probably at most 2 games at a time.
Yeah, same.
But like that's where I agree. Mags 100%. Like if you can play one game at a time and really like, immerse yourself in that experience, do it, because it'll change how you experience video games.
Yeah, I think I have a little bit more of a nuanced or different view of this. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to make some comparisons. Like I've played games where I'm like, oh, this system is very similar to another game, but I think the other game does it better for these reasons. But you have to be able to like hold those two things in tension, right?
Yeah.
Like if a comparison comes to mind, that's fine, but like don't let it stop you from enjoying the game and letting it be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because to Slam's point, like that's not a good way to experience games. You just let the experience be what it is. But I don't think it's like wrong or even unnatural to have some of those comparisons in mind, especially when there are big elements that are similar. It's like if I'm playing turn-based games, right? I've played so many turn-based games that when I play a new one, I'm going to be in my mind compare, like, where does this fit categorically? Is this more like a Final Fantasy? Is this more like a, Legend of Dragoon or Lost Odyssey? Like, what's this like, and how does it compare? But I can still play the game and enjoy the game.
Yeah,
So,
you specifically mentioned, I realized by doing this that was killing the joy of what made games really fun. And that's kind of why I focused in on my answer there, because I don't want that for anyone. Don't let that happen. Don't let anything kill your joy of having fun with games, right?
Yeah. Games are supposed to be fun.
I've had some games that I've played in the past, like Infinite Undiscovery on the Xbox 360. Like, nobody talks about this game. When I first started playing it, it was a little bit hard to get into because it was similar in some ways, but different in others. And I wasn't sure how I felt about it. And I just locked in and let it be what it is and figured it out. And by the end of the game, like, I loved that game. And I think it's one of the standout Xbox 360 games that I played back in the day. I know it's not rated super highly, and I think a lot of people didn't get past that first part, but I don't know. There are games like that where you may find that, maybe you drop the game after, 10, 20 hours before, and your friends keep telling you it's one of the best games of all time. And then you keep using it in lists and things like that. And you keep calling out Dragon Quest, for example. And then you go back and you play it and you give it the time it deserves. And suddenly it's one of the greatest games.
Yeah, that could totally happen. I'm not saying it won't happen.
Me and Brandon have just been here. Mags accused us of, what was it you said we do?
You always team up. You're a dynamic duo.
No, you like gas up Final Fantasy.
You're glazing Final Fantasy.
That's what you said we do. We've been doing that this episode, actually.
Yeah.
So apologies there.
No, you don't have to apologize. True. It just happens. But then you got all offended because I said you did it. But it's like, it's okay.
You said it as like a derogatory thing toward us, Mags. You guys are always glazing Final Fantasy. We do that. We love Final Fantasy.
You don't know what my tone was.
That's true. I just read it that way,
but
so that's my fault.
It's okay.
Mags always has good intentions.
You can glaze whatever you want. Maybe donuts. I don't know.
Donuts were good. I had them for breakfast this morning, actually.
Glazing donuts. Oh man, I'm hungry. So no, don't. Let's not talk about donuts. But we do need to talk about bread because we have one more question from That's Bread.
And we love
bread here on this podcast.
Sliced bread, sandwiches. Yeah. What kind of sandwiches do you guys like?
Grilled cheese.
Good old BLT.
Grilled cheese, tomato soup.
Turkey sandwich.
Always a good choice. Turkey sandwich.
Triple decker bacon cheeseburger.
Oh, yeah.
Fried chicken sandwich.
Ooh, yeah. Grilled chicken club.
Grilled chicken club. All right.
French dip.
Covered that.
All right.
French dip's good.
French dip.
Good shout out.
All right. So we gotta go through the question. This is our last question.
Okay.
So, hey guys, I hope you've been well. I wanted to ask which JRPG character, main party or NPC, who you feel is often misunderstood or receives a lot of unnecessary hate. I feel that Quina, however you say her name, from Final Fantasy IX, gets a lot of flack because they seem like a joke character, which there is some truth to that. But for a game that deals with a lot of heavy themes and many characters being forced to confront their own mortality and other existential questions, Quina cuts the tension with comic relief, but also acts as an anchor for the party with their simplistic but refreshing way of thinking, which is to focus on what you love in life, no matter how bad things seem. With Final Fantasy IX's themes, it could have very easily gone in the same direction as Final Fantasy XVI, being unrelentingly bleak if it didn't have a character like Quina around.
Pretty easy answer for me. It's Chie.
I was going to say Chie. Dang it.
No, you weren't. You hate Chie.
I was going to say Chie. I don't hate Chie.
It's like Mag's draft.
We've had this conversation, Slam.
Chie is the answer. She's a great character, and she's going to finally get the love she deserves with Revival. Okay?
Okay.
I'm confident in that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Chie is awesome. Let the record show.
Okay.
All right, Max.
Okay. I'm going to have to go with Elisa from Trails of Cold Steel because so many people like to judge her by how she acts at the beginning of the game.
Brandon, stop, bro.
And
I like her.
Oh, okay.
I know.
I played enough to like that
Yeah.
character.
Oh, for a
That's
second,
like the
I thought
one
he
thing
was
I
just trolling.
actually
I'm
know.
sorry.
No, he was being. I think he was being for real.
Okay, cool.
But the reason why I just find it tough is because she has like a great character arc, and she doesn't even act in this way that people like don't like for very long in the first game. Like her and Reen kind of have a heart to heart and kind of settle whatever happened between them, and then they move on and they're friends, and then maybe love interests if you know ship them like I do. But I just think people judge her really harshly at the beginning of the game because of how she treats Reen after a certain incident. And I also don't think people really take into account that the reason why she acts that way has a lot to do with who the male role model is in her life, which is her grandfather.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Who's kind of a perv. And so
The worst character in Cold Steel.
It makes sense to me why she would act that way towards Reen based on her previous experiences with that. So give Elisa some grace. She's a great
She's awesome.
character. And that's what I'll say.
She is the ship
She is the ship. Her and Reen are the ship. Case closed. Done.
in the story. Break time.
I'm
Where's
gonna go with another Persona 4 character, and that's got to be Teddy.
Interesting.
That's got to be Teddy. I think Teddy gets a lot of hate. I think Teddy is a fascinating character that adds a lot of depth in terms of questions of society and the morals of society. And in the context of Persona 4, when characters are grappling with their identity, he adds a very fascinating element to the overarching story and the overarching themes. He does also have some genuinely funny moments. Like he's a doofus. He's a goofball.
He is. It's true.
So I feel like Teddy can be weird, but I think people kind of like Chie. They kind of take aspects of his character and they boil him down to just those things, and they don't let him be the full character that he is in the game. So I think Teddy gets a lot of hate that he doesn't necessarily deserve.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
All right. I was genuinely going to say Chie Slam. Like that was the first thing that
so
came to
funny.
mind.
I believe you.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mags,
Time for bonus XP.
I think
All
it's
right.
bonus XP, and I think it's your turn.
It is my turn.
Wow, almost a 3-hour episode here, guys.
We'll make this could go pretty quick, depending on how easily you two agree on
You want me to
things.
share my screen?
Yes, please.
You want me to share my screen?
We'll have to agree quickly, Slam.
I
I'll
don't
have
think
to
this will
agree
be
quickly.
too tough, but I think it'll be fun.
Oh, I gotta find.
Do you need me to send the image again?
No, I gotta find the window. I've got the image. I just gotta. Here we go.
So I do
I
have
think
to
I
give
got it.
credit for this to Raylix, who posted a similar image in the Discord.
The colors look weird.
Yeah,
It's so bright.
it's really overexposed. I don't know.
Why is that?
I don't know. That is odd. Whoa. Oh,
Oh.
that's so strange. Do you want me to
Let me-
send it again or?
No, here I'll try something real quick. Give me 5 seconds.
So anyway, shout out to Raylix for
5
this idea for
seconds.
bonus XP because I definitely poached it from him, and I think it's going to be fun.
Word. Shout outs to Raylix.
Yeah, shout outs. So I'll go ahead and set up the game while Slam's
Yeah.
getting it set
Rules.
up. So essentially, we're going to have 12 games in this lovely collage that Slam is going to put on the screen. And among these 12, y'all have to decide 3 to erase forever, 3 to delay for 5 years,
5 years.
5 years.
Yep.
Shoot.
and 3 to release tomorrow.
Ooh.
Is that better? That looks better.
Much better.
Thank you, Photoshop.
Yeah. So we'll start with the 3 you want to erase forever.
All right, Brandon.
Okay, wait. I got
I think I've got 2 I'm pretty confident in.
Yep.
Are we thinking the same 2? What do you think?
Tell me. You choose one, and I'll choose one.
Another Eden Begins. Or let's erase that.
That was one of them.
Okay. And then Atelier.
Oh,
I like Atelier, but I mean,
I know it's a tough list.
That's not the first one that I thought of. I was thinking of Muramasa, and it's just because Muramasa already exists.
No, we're not erasing that forever.
But it already exists. So like the remake being erased would still mean that the game exists.
Yeah, but the remake seems to have from what oh well, that's true. I guess the extra content is just like content that's released for the game over the years.
Yeah, so it feels kind of like a cheater
I'm
pick
on board.
because
Another
if we erase
Begins
it,
also exists elsewhere.
Yep.
Muramasa exists elsewhere. We'll erase those two.
Mm-hmm.
And we need a third one. Definitely not erasing Resident Evil 9.
Y'all are ridiculous for making me put this on here.
Definitely
Technically, the same logic applies to Tales of Eternia.
It does.
Yep, that's true. So let's erase those three.
All right.
Okay.
That's a move, dude. That's a smart move.
Yeah.
Smart move. Good call, Brandon. What would I do without you?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Probably go.
I love you, bro.
Man, I don't know, dude. Probably just sleep my days away, man.
Okay.
That sounds like you
Brandon.
should get rid of me because sleep is good.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to live life, dude. Not without Brandon.
Oh, shucks.
Okay,
All
guys. Let's get back on track.
Guys, like reel it in, guys.
Okay, now you have to pick 3 to delay for 5 years.
First one that comes to mind: Dragon Quest Monsters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dragon Quest Monsters is easy delay for 5 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Atelier.
Okay.
Atelier.
All right.
Yep.
I don't feel an immediate need to play that. Okay. And then the rest of them get kind of hard, but I think I'm going to go Pokemon.
Is Resident Evil cheating?
Yeah,
Can we
can't-
say
you
Resident
can't use
Evil?
that one.
Boo.
Boo!
I'm the game master today.
I feel like of the games on this list, I'd be okay waiting to play Pokemon.
I'm glad I'm not in this discussion.
It's either Pokemon or Trails for me.
Crazy.
Max hates me
Crazy.
right now. Like, Slam, I thought we were friends.
I don't know anymore. I don't know you anymore, dude.
After that Trails conversation we had earlier,
Slam, we could do some serious
next time we see each other.
we could do some serious emotional damage to Max right now by saying Trails is the other one.
And Pokemon.
Well, you only had to pick one
we
more.
only had to
but
pick
we
one
can
more.
like keep the other one.
Right.
Yeah. So instead of delaying Atelier, we can delay Trails.
Get out of here with that nonsense. Get out. We're not doing that. You already picked 2, so pick one more.
Dragon Quest Monsters, Atelier, and Pokemon.
Brandon?
Unless Brandon, you are dying to play Pokemon tomorrow.
I am really excited about that Pokemon game.
More so than Trails.
No. I wouldn't actually choose Trails here, but I
Thank you.
This is gonna be hard, and I'm okay with losing this battle. But I almost would rather say Final Fantasy Resonance than Pokemon.
Revelations, you mean?
No, Resonance.
Oh, Resonance. This one.
Yeah.
Man,
because
that one's so interesting to me because
no, totally. All of these games are good
do,
choices, but because of the rest of the games here, like the only one for me that
I'm really hyped about Pokemon. Pombon.
Pombon. How can you delay Pombon for 5 years?
I can't delay Pombon.
Shoo.
All right. Final Fantasy Resonance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Atelier, Final Fantasy Resonance, Dragon Quest Monsters.
Yep.
Okay. Now, another fun one. Choose 3 to release tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Xenoblade Genesis.
So
what happens to the ones that are left on the list?
They release at the time that they're supposed to.
Okay.
Oh, Xenoblade Genesis, Persona 6.
Yep.
And
Xenoblade Genesis, Persona 6.
And Kingdom Hearts 4.
And Kingdom Hearts 4. That's perfect. That is perfect.
I can't
Or maybe
believe
actually-
I can't believe neither one of you would pick Fire Emblem or Trails so they don't release on the same
Because-
freaking day.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
That's fine. It's
But-
not a concern for you two. I get it.
but we know they're coming though.
and they're coming soon.
Right, but
We
like,
chose 3 games that are like coming.
do you
pretty
really
far
need them
out.
all tomorrow?
Actually, check this out, Brandon. Since we know Xenoblade is coming next year, we should do Persona 6, Kingdom Hearts 4, and Dragon Quest 12.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right.
Because Dragon Quest 12, we don't know when that's coming. It's coming 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Persona 6, who knows? Kingdom Hearts 4, probably going to be delayed 10 times.
Yep.
Let's go with Kingdom Hearts 4, Persona 6, Dragon Quest 12.
I
And then
think
play
we've
all the
had
rest
the
of them.
perfect-
When
yeah,
this is perfect.
We've had the perfect strategy. This is like flawless. I don't think there's.
we had a perfect strategy for every single category. Dude.
Yeah.
For the ones that we removed, we chose ones that existed elsewhere. For the ones that we delayed, we chose ones that we can wait to play those.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then the ones that we want to play tomorrow are the ones that who knows when these are coming.
Yeah.
An eternity, maybe. Not for us.
We got it.
Tomorrow.
Not for us, baby. We're gonna get all of it. We're gonna maximize.
Yeah.
So
Delay
that's it,
maxing.
Max.
Okay.
That's. I mean,
It's done.
I don't know what you were trying to do to us, but we nailed it.
We
I
won.
just thought it would result into some fun discussion.
It was
That's all.
amazing. I think
So-
it probably would have been.
Resulted
We should do this
in
again.
incredible strategy.
We should do
Yeah.
this again. You know,
I think it would be fun.
Mags won't host, and maybe it'll be a little bit more argumentative.
Oh, it definitely would be. There's no maybe.
What would I'm interested in, Mags. The ones you could play tomorrow, which ones would they be?
I would pick Fire Emblem, so it wouldn't
Okay.
release at the same time as Trails, and I could just play it.
That's fair.
Probably Persona 6, just so it's out there. Like, I don't disagree with that strategy. I just don't think I would have picked 3 games that are like way far out. And
Dragon Quest 12 because she loves Dragon Quest.
Dude,
games.
loves Dragon Quest. It's her
I
favorite
would-
series of
Yeah.
all time. Better than Trails.
Yeah.
okay,
She loves
calm
it
down.
more
Calm
than
down.
Trails. Trails below Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest up here. Final Fantasy. Trails. Off
Okay.
the screen, as you can see.
Anyway, I think the third one that I would pick would probably be Pokemon, just so I'd have a mix of games. Be like a good balance.
I mean, yeah,
So,
I can see that.
yeah.
All right.
Well, that's it. There you have
That's
it,
it.
folks.
That's going to wrap it up for us then.
It
All right.
is. Wow, what an
Well, thanks
episode.
for joining us. If you are still here and you have not subscribed, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just
Come on.
subscribe.
You can
Subscribe
do
to
it.
the
Come
channel.
on, son.
It
And
takes
a
join us in
second.
the Discord. Shout outs to all the members. Shout outs to all the questions. You guys are awesome. And Slam, where can everybody find you?
Slam Zany on all the things. Twitter and YouTube mostly. I have a video up for The Adventures of Elliot that I did. Really like that game. Xenoblade Chronicles did a video for the Switch 2 version. Also loving that game. So yeah, go check me out on those places. But most importantly, you can find me right here on this podcast.
Got him.
Thanks, dog.
All right, Mags.
I
We're gonna
love that
refine
guy.
Yeah, you can find me at Avenger Mags on Twitter and Blue Sky and writing for Nintendo Force magazine. We're actually starting production on our next issue this week, so lots of exciting
go.
stuff to come. Especially because this is our September-October issue, and Fire Emblem is the big September release, so we're excited
Let's
to feature
go.
that.
Yes.
So yeah, so that'll be super exciting, and you can also find me on this podcast.
All right. Got him. All right. And you can find me at Retro Brandon on YouTube, at Nova Brand on Twitter. And you can not only find me on this podcast, but you can find me in the Discord talking with people who enjoy this podcast as well as the others here. All right. It is late for us. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you all on the next one.
See you on the next one.
Bye.
Later.